Hey, it's Chris. Just chiming in on a situation I woke up to this morning. Another wrestling situation. Kind of don't want my thing to be a wrestling situation channel, but this one is especially stupid, so I want to kind of chime in and give some thoughts on it. So, Samurai Del Sol, formerly known as Kalisto, decided to put up a little heartfelt tribute thing or heartfelt message about John Huber, formerly forever known as Brody Lee, saying that he worked a match with AEW last night, and it was really heartfelt. It was really nice. It was really kind of sweet and heartfelt, and came off sincere. Um, that should have pretty much been the end of it. But then Chris Jericho decided to chime in because he spelled John wrong. He chimed in because he spelled John wrong. Forget the rest of the sentiment in the video, forget the rest of everything that was said. He was mad because he misspelled his name. John instead of Jon. At which point, Amanda Huber, John's widow, backed up Jericho, which just started this whole Twitter storm and all this stuff online. Here's the thing. The biggest thing about this, and this needs to be said, Sammuray Del Sol's initial first language isn't English. And in his language, they don't have the Jon, John. They only have the John. When this was brought to Amanda Huber's point, she just went, that's cool. It doesn't matter. Should have got his name right. This all came off as two people who were working executive roles in AEW being kind of petty, which it is. It's incredibly petty. And a lot of people are trying to go with kid gloves on Miss Huber, obviously, because she is his widow, which is fine. However, being someone's widow does not give you a pass from being petty about something like this. Yes, that was your husband. Yes, he's the father of your children. Yes, you have the right to defend him. Absolutely. What you don't have the right to do is attack a dude for his sentiment. You don't know where his heart was. You probably didn't talk to this man before you defended Jericho, who I'm going to get to him in a second. But, like, my name is Chris. There are multiple spellings of my name, and I don't get mad when someone spells it. There's Chris, Chris, how mine is spelled. There's Khris, how some people have it spelled. There's Chris, Criss, Kris, and then so on. There's John, John, and John, Jon. Both of these exist. Now, this guy may not have even known that his name was spelled Jon. Just because he worked with him in WWE doesn't mean he knew how his name was spelled. So that's pretty much my thoughts on her part of this. But Chris Jericho, a whole nother situation. Like, dude, you could have DM'd this man and said this. You could have private messaged this person. You didn't have to take it public. You could have sent this to him in a private message or DM'd him. If you were at the show last night, you could have just said, hey, man, let me talk to you about that tweet you put up. You spelled his name wrong. No big deal, but you may want to, just for future, his name is Jon, not John. You could have done that. And everything would have been fine, and there wouldn't be this whole Twitter storm of people saying that you're a dickhead for doing this in public, which you are. You didn't have to take it that way. You didn't have to do it that way. You've been around for 20 fucking years, dude. Like, there's better ways to handle stuff. And for you to do this, aren't you the same guy that tried to fight Brock Lesnar backstage over an angle? You're the guy who tried to fight Brock Lesnar, and you're so soft now that you're mad at the spelling of a name? And then before anybody says this, yes, his name's been out there for over a year. He's been dead for that long. It shouldn't be a thing that you're misspelling his name. But there's a thing called autocorrect. I could type his name into my phone right now and it will still correct it to John, John, and not Jon. So there's that. So we don't know whether he intentionally misspelled his name or whether his autocorrect did it for him. Like a lot of people, he probably didn't proofread it before he sent it. That's the gist of this, and that's the point. To get mad at Samurai Del Sol for his sentiment is petty as fuck. It's incredibly petty. And it makes everyone doing it come off like a baby. Look at the sentiment of what he said, not the spelling of John Huber's name. I mean, what is wrong with you? Like, that's the takeaway from his sentiment. You misspelled his name. You sound like a douchebag when you do that. But given what we've found out about Chris Jericho over the past year or so, that's not really shocking that he's a douchebag. It's really not shocking given like what we know about his wife being at the January 6th insurrection. Like we know like they're not maybe not the best people from that standpoint. So there's that. That's all I gotta really say about this. If you're still mad at Samurai Del Sol, get a life, man. Get some perspective. Log off of Twitter, and maybe I don't know. Look at the birds. Like go read a book, but don't tweet this dude giving him shit about this. It's not that big a deal. It's really not. And I'm pretty sure John Huber is looking at this like, what is wrong with y'all? Like this is what you're arguing about. I'm remembered as someone who was a good person, a genuinely good guy in the business, in the wrestling business. Remembered and loved for it by my peers and by my friends who I've made along the way. I don't want people fighting about the spelling of my name. I'd like to think he thinks that and he's looking down at this and kind of shaking his head. Because I shook my head the second I saw it and I was like, he can't possibly be happy about this. It's kind of just it's dumb. It's dumb. To Samurai Del Sol, dude, don't even sweat these people giving you crap, man. You're good.